Welcome to Wawa Wire. Today, we're talking about Mahathir's assessment of Sabah's political landscape. And specifically, we're looking at some pretty sharp critiques from the former prime minister about how elections seem to work or, well, maybe don't work effectively over there. It's quite a cynical view, really.
It is. And it's interesting because he's kind of looking beyond the day-to-day politics.
So what's the core argument, the really shocking part?
Well, his main point, the starkest one, is this. You've got Sabah facing these huge, long-standing problems, serious stuff.
Like what specifically?
Things like ongoing corruption issues involving state assembly, when you hear about those. Then there's the impact of frequent natural disasters, floods, landslides, even social problems like, say, school bullying. Really fundamental issues.
Okay, so big challenges.
He argues. You look at the election results, and they seem almost totally disconnected from actually putting a government in place that can effectively tackle these problems. Good governance seems secondary.
Ah, so that's the paradox he's highlighting, the idea that people are clearly dealing with major issues, but their choices at the polls don't necessarily lead to leaders who can fix them.
Precisely. He argues that, logically, Sabahans should be aiming to elect a really effective government, especially with elections coming up. But he believes the way politics often works there, the culture, gets in the way.
What is it about the culture, then? What's the blockage?
He pins it down to what people focus on during elections. His claim is that, for many voters, it's not really about the nitty-gritty of governance.
Meaning not about detailed policies or infrastructure plans or how the state budget, running into billions of ringgit is managed.
Right. Less focus on that and more on, well, other things. He suggests attention gets drawn to individual personalities, who's charismatic, who seems appealing.
Or maybe just the familiar party brands.
That too. Party loyalty plays a big role, he thinks, and even, quite fundamentally, ethnic alignment. It can become more about identity politics than about who's actually best suited to administer the state effectively.
So if the focus is on charisma or party or group identity rather than, say, competence or track record,
then, according to his logic, the election outcome isn't really optimized for good governance. The result, he warns, is often a government that might look okay on the surface, but isn't truly functional or capable of addressing those deep-seated problems.
people get elected because they look good, sound good, but maybe can't deliver when it comes to the actual job of governing.
That's the gist of it. And this misplaced focus, he suggests, links directly to another major issue he sees: political fragmentation. This is where things get particularly messy.
Oh, so
He describes this almost frenetic burst of activity whenever an election is announced in Sabah. It's like the floodgates open.
a kind of political free-for-all.
Pretty much. He paints this picture where, almost immediately, you see people rushing to form brand new political parties. Sometimes these are tiny, maybe based on very local issues, or even just one person's ambition.
Or they form quick alliances, maybe ones that don't have much substance beyond the election.
Exactly, opportunistic alliances. Or, if that doesn't work out, individuals just decide to stand as independent candidates.
So the ballot paper ends up incredibly crowded.
Unbelievably congested. You end up with constituencies having, 5, 6, 7, maybe even more candidates vying for the same seat. It's like a political traffic jam.
And the effect of that, all those names on the ballot.
Well, the crucial technical effect, Mahathir points out, is that the electorate inevitably gets split into many small factions. That's the key phrase.
Because the votes are spread so thinly across all these different options.
Precisely. This practically guarantees what are called multi-cornered fights in almost every single seat.
Which means a candidate doesn't need a majority to win, right? Just more votes than any other single candidate.
Exactly. They only need a plurality. So someone could potentially get elected as the people's representative with, let's say, 30% of the vote.
Meaning a huge chunk, maybe 70% of the voters in that area actually chose someone else, anyone else.
Right. But the person with 30% still wins the seat. And this, Mahathir addresses, is the sort of undemocratic outcome. It's minority rule achieved through the mechanics of the system.
And he argues people just have to accept this result, even if there's widespread dissatisfaction.
Yes. Regardless of that dissatisfaction, the system says this person is the representative. He believes this erodes public confidence and definitely doesn't help political stability because the winner lacks a strong, clear mandate from the majority.
Okay, so we have voters potentially distracted by personality and a system that encourages fragmentation and minority winners. That sounds like a recipe for problems.
It leads directly to his third main point, which is perhaps the most pessimistic one. The idea that choosing good leadership becomes almost a game of chance.
Because when he was asked if there are actually good, suitable candidates available in Sabah, his answer wasn't very optimistic.
No, it was quite grim. He really focused on the difficulty of knowing a person's true character, their integrity, before they get into power.
Ah, the old power corrupts idea?
Very much so.
Yeah.
His viewpoint is strong on this. Someone might seem excellent before they get elected. They may campaign well, talk about reforms, seem ethical. They pass the personality test we talked about earlier.
But once they get into office,
The pressures, the opportunities, the sheer scale of managing budgets worth hundreds of millions, potentially billions of ringgit,
yeah,
it changes things. It tests them in ways campaigning never does.
what looks good on the posters might not hold up under the strain of actual governing.
That's his contention. He argues that a leader's real character, their true colors, only fully emerge once they reach high office. Like becoming a chief minister, with all the state powers that entails, or a federal minister shaping national policies.
So high office isn't just a position, it's the ultimate test.
It's the real test of office, in his view. And his experience, he suggests, shows that too many fail that test, sometimes quite dramatically.
So if the system often produces fragmented results with weak mandates, and you can't really know if a leader is truly capable or have integrity until after they've gained power, where does that leave the voter?
It's a serious dilemma, isn't it? If the whole process feels stacked against finding genuinely good leaders, how do you make an informed choice?
And this leads back to that really blunt assessment he gave about luck.
Yes. When directly asked if choosing the right leader in Sabah basically comes down to luck, his reported answer was stark. He agreed, saying it's almost entirely up to luck.
Wow, almost entirely up to luck. That's quite a statement about a democratic process. It's not just saying a particular choice was bad. It's questioning the reliability of the whole system.
He really sums up his deep cynicism about the political culture he's describing.
So just to bring it all together, his critique rests on these three interconnected issues.
Yeah, basically three things working together negatively. First, the voters getting distracted, focusing on personality and maybe identity politics over the actual substance of governance.
Second, the political structure itself, encouraging fragmentation, too many parties, too many candidates leading to split votes and winners without strong majority support.
And third, the inherent gamble in leadership selection, where you only find out if someone is truly suitable after they're already in a position of significant power, with all the risks that entails.
And he sees this as a kind of self-perpetuating cycle, one that makes it hard for Sabah to get stable, effective administration, no matter how urgent the problems are.
That seems to be the core of his critique, a system almost designed for instability and underperformance.
So, given these really quite profound concerns Mahathir raises about personality politics, about fragmented voting, which, let's face it, aren't unique just to Sabah, we'd like to put it to you, the listener. What's your assessment of this critique?
Do you agree that this focus on personality over policy is a major hurdle? Is political fragmentation undermining effective representation in your view? We're keen to hear what you think.
And here's a final thought to ponder. If a leader with decades of experience at the very top of Malaysian politics believes that choosing a state government responsible for vast sums of public money and people's well-being is largely down to chance, what does that really imply about accountability? About the stability we can expect from elected representatives once they settle into their roles? Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.